Who would have thought quitting your job, moving out to Japan, running a 2:14 marathon and turning pro would be the easy part? And 2 years later, I'm still in a relentless battle to join a Japanese team. To say the running scene here is closed off to foreigners would be the understatement of the century. Try as I might, up until now I've been unable to train with a group long term and have been on this solo endeavour to run a sub 2:10 marathon. But that could all change today as I go on not one but 2 team trials. This is the biggest moment of my running journey so far. So first up, I'm heading off to Hamamatsu, the home of Suzuki, mostly known for their cars and bikes, but like most big corporations in Japan, they also fund an elite marathon team. I was kindly invited to their summer training camp and had spent a month already slogging it round every mountain in Nagano with the boys. I made some monstrous jumps in fitness during that time and never quite managed to hit the same heights since going back to solo training. But one of the boys, Oishi, who I did all my sessions with there, just knocked out a 2:08 marathon, so if only I could train with him and the others full time. Well, my persistence seems to have paid off, as head coach Fujiwara has given me the all clear to come over to their HQ and try out as an unofficial member. So I'm just doing a bit of exploring around Hamamatsu, checking out the local area. I got this little Airbnb. It was kind of hard finding places, so I wanted to be near the Suzuki dorm, so they're staying kind of over that way, like around this big lake. So that's where they do a lot of their morning runs. But I'm maybe 3-4K away, so I can kind of run over there and stuff, train with them, because I wanted to get a feel for what it would be like if I actually moved here. Because that's the sort of thinking, you know, at the moment, I've been trying to join a pro team, like one of these elite teams out here forever. I mean, pretty much since I came out here, and it is an absolute nightmare. I think to actually join full time as like a proper official member, it's almost never going to be a possibility. I think I'd have to run 2:06 at least in the marathon, but realistically, I'd probably have to break the British 10K record as well, because that's what they mostly care about, like all these Jitsugodan teams. But to me, I'm not bothered if I become an official member or what. It's more, I just want training partners. Like I want to be able to train with people. So I've been reaching out to a whole bunch of teams. And the problem I've had with most of them is the old one foreigner policy. So each team can only have one foreigner on their starting lineup and usually just one reserve, which means every team recruits a couple of world-class Kenyans to represent them. So if I was Japanese, I'd be chilling, but as a foreigner, the entry level is an absolute joke. But you know what? I respect the rules. Japan want their homegrown talent to shine, and it's why the people resonate so much with the running culture over here, and races like Hakone and the New Year's Ekiden are the most watched on earth. God, I've just had the warmest welcome to Hamamatsu. So randomly, I was getting off the bus. I'd done a little bit of exploring like around near the station, and I was coming back to this Airbnb. So that's actually where I'm at now, this little crib that I'm staying in for a few days while I'm here. And randomly, as I get off the bus, someone's like, Jake. It's like, hey, what? And it turns out it was the owner of this Airbnb's dad, who actually lives just next door. I think he'd seen me maybe running or something in the morning, and he started chatting away. We had a lovely little chat, like random stuff. He was asking what I'm up to, and I think he was very surprised that I could kind of speak some Japanese. And then he gifted me this. So I couldn't work out exactly what it was, but he said it was some kind of sweet thing. I'm not sure I knew the name, but let's get unboxing. And we've got a surprise Scran to Japan special right now. It's warm as well. What is this? Azuki, is that red bean maybe? I like this, a mystery. And my Japanese isn't quite up to scratch. Oh, this is quality. It's like these pancakes. Yeah, I forget the name. So the problem is, I can't read a lot of the kanji. So that's these like Japanese symbols. I can't read what it says, but I have eaten these before. Unbelievable. Yeah, it's kind of this pancake outside. And I think, yeah, we've got red bean in the middle. What an absolute legend. I think he just picked him up at the station. Decides to give them to me. That's fresh. Freshly baked goodness. See, it's worth being able to speak a little bit of Japanese just to impress the locals. You never know what little goodies you might get. Oh, you know, I'm not the biggest fan normally of red bean, but taking the generosity, the kindness of the absolute legend living next door into account, this is going to get an 8.3 on the Scran to Japan scale. Oh, lovely stuff. Now, I can't let the free food sway my judgment too much. So what am I feeling about the city so far? So remote and peaceful feeling compared to Tokyo. That's the first thing I've noticed just from being here even a short time, that there's just so few people. It feels so quiet everywhere. But I think if I moved here, I definitely need a car. That's one thing that Tokyo is unbeatable with, the convenience, just getting anywhere. Like you forget just how easy it is to bop from like cafe, coffee shop, hit the park, like restaurants, whatever. It's all there, all within walking or biking distance, or you can like hop on a train. Whereas here, yeah, I'm struggling getting a
about on foot. Need to invest in a little whip, the RTJ Mobile.
And it would only be fitting to get a Suzuki. Surely they could hook me up with some mates rates discount. Now I think it's time to pound some pavements, as that's what we're really here for.
So I've been exploring around the different routes because I want to get a feel for like the running here. It's obviously the main reason I'm moving, like having a team here and then being able to have some decent running, because we've got this quality lake. So I guess this would become the Yoyogi Park, my usual stomping grounds if I moved here. And it's 6K around the outside. And there's a nice bit of trail as well, because that's a big thing, being able to get off tarmac. Because I always do my doubles around that Yoyogi Park trail to try and cushion the legs, give the little thunder thighs a break. And at the moment, I'm just heading over to the dorm now to run with Kiriyama.
So having faster runners like my mate Kiriyama to pull me along in sessions is what I need to unlock that next level. In just 4 weeks over the summer, I went from hanging onto the back of the pack to right up there leading things by the end. As the world's most competitive man, I thrive off that environment, but it's just been missing ever since I moved back to Tokyo. Back to the shoebox apartment, which I feel like is time we leveled up.
So I was thinking, if I move here, I've obviously got to find a place to stay. I need a bit of an upgrade after the tiny little apartment in Tokyo. I've just stumbled across a decent looking crib, which I reckon I could see myself living in. I think I'm gonna go for a little tour now, have a look, but I think that castle there, that's got my name written right on it. It's a Ranta Japan palace in the making. I've got a view here behind. Apparently this is the Mount Fuji viewing spot. We'll see, it's not the best day at the moment, but we might be able to just see it in the distance. Let's see if I zoom in, how's that? Yeah, we can see just in the distance creeping over. Actually, maybe we'll get a better view from up there. So I'll go tour my new crib now.
Now this castle was my kind of vibe. I'm definitely gonna have to decorate my new house with suits of armor and katana swords for that traditional Japanese aesthetic. Those feudal lords had a fair bit of swagger about them. And look at that view from the top. It sure beats the skyscrapers looming over my apartment back in Shinjuku.
Oh, so there we have it. What do you think of the crib? Not too shabby, eh? I reckon I could get used to this.
So with the castle secure, it was time to assess the most important factor, the local scran. So Hamamatsu is famous for unagi, or grilled eel, which not only tastes unbelievable, but it's thought to be a natural performance enhancer. So it's a classic pre-marathon meal for many runners out here. This set meal here had it all. A rice bowl topped with pounded yam and sweet saucy unagi, boiled veg, and a banging noodle broth.
So when it comes to deciding where I'm actually gonna move, it pretty much all comes down to the team factor. How involved can I be? How much can I do with the team? Can I go on training camps with them? All that kind of stuff. Like, I'd love to just move somewhere like Nagano, you know, where we did all those training camps in the summer. It's unreal, but there's actually no elite teams or like pro teams up there to train with. All of them travel up there like briefly for like a month or whatever during training camps, but most of the teams are based in the cities, like tend to be kind of the suburbs, like a bit further out from the center. But like Hamamatsu, it's a decent sized city. It's not massive. I mean, like, it's definitely no Tokyo at all, but it's not got tons of like nature and stuff. Definitely not countryside vibe completely, but I think it would still feel nice because I feel like Tokyo is just so busy that you're constantly running into people. So I wouldn't mind it being a little quieter like here, but we'll see what happens, as I've been reaching out to a ton of different teams, and actually in a week's time or so, I'm going up north to Yamagata to try it with another team. So I want to kind of assess the different vibes of the different areas.
So let's head on up there now for a stint with the ND team, who are offering a similar setup to Suzuki, where I can try out as an unofficial member.
So I'm just cruising around Nanyo City, which is going to be my home for the next week. I don't know if we can call it a city, because as you can tell, there is nothing going on. It's just dead quiet around here, proper countryside. And I'm up here living in the dormitory and training with the ND team. So one of these top level Jisugyodan teams. They compete in all the ekidens and stuff, and they've got some ridiculously good runners on the team. Actually, later today, I'm doing my first workout here, a baptism of fire with a 2:07 marathoner. So I'm going straight in the deep end. I'm gonna be absolutely hanging. But yeah, everyone on the team's legends. Like, I've only just met them yesterday, but very, very friendly, pretty outgoing as well for Japanese people. So I've been putting my baby Japanese to the test. This is the best kind of study you can get. 今何をするの？
これからジョギングに行きたいと思います。ジャパニーズマイロード。
ああ、ヨロード。
スペシャルロード。
スペシャルロード。ジャパニーズスタイルだね。
Come on.
Come on, let's go! 英語ペラペラじゃん。すごい。いや、東京から見たら全然違うね。
So as you can tell, this is a slight change of scenery from my usual stomping grounds. And I got a full tour of Nanyo with the boys here. Their whole team are 28-minute 10K runners or sub 210 marathoners. So I'd be covered for any speed or tempo sesh. And I'd hopefully level up my Japanese too with these daily conversation practices.
熊の大社。
熊の大社。
ジャパニーズキャット。
カットライオン。ライオンじゃない？伝統的な日本スタイル。
いい雰囲気。
おー、いい雰囲気。
こっち？
ああ、まあ、撮影の。YouTube、そうそうそう。
コメント。
英語で。
コメント。
でも英語で。Alright, we're here in famous traditional Japanese spot up here in the mountains. I've got my professional cameraman here. プロカメラマン今。It's a good vibe. いい雰囲気だね。いい雰囲気。
ここでは、
そう。
2回。
リスペクト。
で、教えてあげてください。マネーポイント。5円玉。
そう。はい。
Your dream。
夢。オリンピック。
それを。
ゴッド
オリンピック。お願いします。
Well, there we go. The shrine never lies. See you in LA 2028, boys. I'm just strolling to the stations just over there. I think there's a little cafe inside so I can crack on with a bit of YouTube work. Oh, but here's looks like a tourist information board. So this is what the city's got to offer. We've got some onsen, like the heated baths, sky park. That looks sick, actually. Some shrine, museum. All right, we've got plenty to explore. Yeah, I'm actually loving the vibe so far. It's quality, just so different out here. This is the proper marathon monk mode. So now let's check out the monastery where all the boys on the team live. So we're greeted by a handy vending machine to cover all your beverage desires. Then of course it wouldn't be a running house without a massive trainers out front. And inside it was all performance themed.
So this is the home gym where I guess when it's crazy snowy in winter, they've got the treadmill set up, you've got a couple bikes, maybe if you're injured, you get a little spin on. And then they've got the weights, obviously the shoes, that's just a running theme throughout the house. Get a look at those weapons, oh geez. No weights needed for this guy. All the sort of training balls, all of that stuff, a few little fancy machines. And then someone's get massages as well in here, like they'll have the trainer or masseuse just set up there. Pretty sweet setup to be fair. Even though the treadmill miles don't count, I guess if I moved here, I'd have to finally cave in during those couple months where it's just ridiculous snow. Sometimes have to hit a little treadmill sesh. It would pain me to do it, but I guess it's better than nothing.
Then of course there's a dining room where all the meals are whipped up by a chef to meet their nutritional needs. And then we headed upstairs to the rooms. And I never thought I'd be saying my Tokyo apartment feels spacious in comparison.
So this is what a classic room looks like here. You've got the little bunk bed, bit of space underneath, a chair and a small little living area. There's nothing fancy, but at least you get your own room. Everyone's just in these small little dorm rooms.
But the facilities make up for it, and they've even got a hot and cold bath for maximum recovery. So the whole setup is any marathon monk's dream.
Now it's time for a cart horse crushing track sesh, where my one fast twitch fibre will be tested to the max as I try to hang on to 2:08 marathon man Takeuchi and a 27-minute 10K Kenyan Boniface. I mean, you can even see the fear in my eyes just as the coaches are explaining what the actual session is.
It's nice to see like there's a Japanese, a Kenyan and an English guy in a random city in Japan, as well as two French guys. So
山形の人たちびっくりしちゃうよ、こんなに外国人が。
一緒にいると、like 散歩をして、日本人みんな、なんで？
そうだよ。東京ならまだしも山形。
東京。
And we were lucky enough to get an exclusive interview with the head coach of the team, Watanabe-san, who was the one that invited me to come up to Yamagata. So what a legend.
日本とヨーロッパのトレーニングとしての県というのはどんな主な違いですか？私のイメージ、マイイメージ。ヨーロッパはどちらかというとトラックをやってるようなイメージ。やっぱり日本人とヨーロッパ人、ケニア人っていうのはもう体が全然違うので、走り方も違うので、そういった違いっていうのはあるかなと思います。日本人はどちらかというとマラソン向き、精神的にもタフだし、肉体的にも筋持久力 いうところでは他のケニア人と劣ってはないと思うんですけど、やっぱトラックってなるとヨーロッパケニアにはちょっとかなわないかなと。This question difficult.
Yeah. One last difficult question.
difficult. それこれ経済可能性もありますか。それとも経済非常に5オリンピック、オリンピック。日本人選手がオリンピックでマラソン金メダル取る可能性は十分にあると思います。なぜかといえばオリンピックの時期が夏だからペースがそんなに速くない。どちらかというとスピードよりも精神的なところかなりタフなレースになってくるので、そういうレースになると日本人は強いのかなと。逆に冬のマラソンであったりワールドマラソンメジャーズとか速いスピード帯のレースってなるとケニア人であったりエチオピア人にかなう可能性っていうのは低くなるんですけど、オリンピックっていう順位だけを争うような大会の方が可能性としてはある。だから日本人でも金メダルっていうのはあると思います。
And what are his thoughts on my sub 210 marathon dream?
マラソンでの可能性で言えば、2時間12分11分っていうところは見えているかなと。やっぱりさっきも言ったように一人で練習するのには限界があるので、そこの課題が解決できれば簡単に2時間12分11分台っていうのは今の段階でも十分可能性としてはあるかなと。これが2時間10分切りってなってくるとさらに強度の高い練習がどんどん必要になってくると思います。
How was your interview?
We'll see. We didn't understand anything.
But with the power of good old Google Translate, they got through it and I managed to survive the session too, which ended up being my fastest ever thanks to Takeuchi pulling me along. But right now, my hips and stuff are so unbelievably tight. And luckily I can call on Gowood here for some flexibility and recovery drills. So let's get these exercises going. So I've been trying to work on loosening it up. And in the app, you can target specific areas. Here, I'm gonna hit the glutes, the hips. I think basically this whole sort of middle section, my trunk, it's all locked up. So it's kind of stopping me from running properly. And I think it was ever since I had that calf injury. It felt like having that time off. Like whenever I have time off, it throws you off. I need to be in the rhythm of running consistently. And when I do have those odd little down periods, that's when everything starts tightening up and stiffening up. And what's good about the Gowood app, you can do it daily, it's rapid, like you can knock it out in 10 minutes or whatever. And it's tailored as well to your sport. So obviously for me doing distance running, I'm just gonna select the exercises that are specifically good for that. Because I found watching a lot of the race videos recently, even when I'm running well, I definitely don't look like the smoothest mover. I've pointed out a lot of the Japanese runners have some beautiful running form, then there's me just pounding the pavements. So I'm hoping if I keep using Gowood consistently, I can get a bit looser and not be the ultimate cart horse forever. I think the more time I'm spending here, the more I'm rating Nanyo. Like it's hard, I'm trying to constantly compare to Hamamatsu, because that's basically the options. Either go Hamamatsu, which is like medium-sized city, not the best for running, but then obviously, yeah, you've got the Suzuki team, or come up here. I think the difference is now it's unreal, but then in about a month's time, this whole place can be snowed over. I think it's almost impossible to run. You've got waist deep snow, but right now this is like peak. It doesn't get better than this. Like take a look at this, let me flip it around. So we ran earlier, like all along that kind of mountain ridge, right out there. It's just no people. You go about a kilometre further that way, and that's kind of the end of this little town. And then it's just proper countryside. So I've been here a few days now. I've got to do a bit more exploring and stuff, like do some more training with the team, but it's been quality so far, great fun. But geez, it would be a cultural shock moving here. You see, this is actually one of the tourist spots, and there's literally no one here. Apart from a couple random camera guys, I don't know how these foreigners showed up. So I had Robin and William from Emulation stalking me up here, and you probably recognise some of the scenery from the documentary that they put together. If you haven't seen it, then I can't recommend it enough. In this channel, I've obviously shown my life in Japan, but what's missing is the 25 years before that, and the doc is there to basically fill in the gaps. And it seems like the biggest revelation from it was my old rapping career coming to light. There were hundreds of comments calling for a return and a Rap to Japan spin-off. Well, I'll have to try and dig through my old files to try and find some of the full songs. But here's a sneak preview of one of my bangers. And you'll have to let me know in the comments if punchlines should make a return.
I'm the ringleader, Colosseum, my arena. I'm king of the ring, I'll defeat ya. Make them retreat, I'll arise as the king.
But now I've got to treat the Emulation boys to a Scran to Japan special while they're up here.
Hey, wait, you're telling me you think that looks terrible?
This fish, yeah.
It
It's
looks like-
impossible to know what it is.
No, that's the mystery.
Like, you're coming up.
So it didn't look the most appealing, but this brown sauce covered carp was an absolute winner for me. The best part of these Japanese meals is you always get a load of random side dishes too, and this came with some crispy fish skin, sashimi, and the standard rice and miso soup bowls.
We have some Japanese boiled carp. Like, this is heavy. Like,
It's almost like a unit.
it's a small unit. Oh, this is cold. It's a solid 7.7.
On the Scran to Japan scale. Now, putting the food to the side, the running was bloody good up here. I knocked out a couple of my best sessions ever, including my fastest track sesh to date. So just like with the Suzuki team, I felt like a week of running with training partners was enough to make improvements. So imagine what a year or two could do. It's exciting times for the channel as the big decision awaits. So you'll have to follow along to the channel here to see where I end up moving and when I finally say sayonara to Tokyo. We've got a big year inbound, but this has been Jake with Run to Japan. I'll catch you in the next one. Remember, train harder, not smarter.